All right, let's go accept this award.
He's been featured in Forbes and Bloomberg and is committed to a lifelong pursuit of advancing clean energy. Please welcome him to the stage.
I'm a 2011 grad, not a 2009 grad. Once a loner, always a loner. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I'd like to thank God, my parents, all the organizers, the TU faculty and students, Kathy Taylor, who graciously bought a battery, I guess, for her electric car. And my mentor also, Professor Singh, who vouched on my behalf for so long. I learned some time not long ago that once I started to share my story and not hide from it, I could achieve results, make connections, and gain contentment beyond my wildest ambitions. They say that there's 3 E's to storytelling. E number 1 is sharing an experience. E number 2 is extracting lessons from it. And E number 3 is educating or entertaining along the way. So today I'm going to share some highlights from my story. I'm going to take some lessons out of it. And I'm going to do my best to avoid any snores coming out of the audience. If you need to yawn, I just need you to pull one of those real weird looking faces and pull it back. I was born in Canada to immigrant Egyptian parents who had left their homeland in pursuit of a better life. In a land like America that promised upward mobility if you exhibit good character and strong work ethic. At the age of 5, my parents moved us to Plano, Texas, where I would spend the rest of my childhood and adolescent years before attending TU. When I was 9 years old, my father went on a business trip, and little did I know on that Sunday morning, I would bid him farewell and see him for the last time. The commercial airline he was on crashed. No one on the plane survived. He left behind my mother, my 4 siblings and I, as well as a community of people who dearly adored and respected him. Throughout middle and high school, I for the most part hid in my turtle of a shell. I tried to avoid the pity looks from adults, the deep emotional void and insecurities, and the snide comments from bullies. When it came time for college, I decided to attend TU because frankly it was far away from home, to where no one would know about my past, but close enough to where I could still visit my family every couple of months. I didn't really have a real plan outside of wanting to get out of town and not share my past with anyone. Throughout my time at TU, I developed into a social butterfly. School and faculty felt very accessible, my peers were easily approachable, and it was overall a great environment to learn and make friends. I don't believe this was by accident. I definitely believe that TU did this by design. TU has done an unbelievable job in fostering this kind of social and academic environment. During the spring semester of my sophomore year, I still hadn't declared a major. So I overheard my roommate at the time, who was a star on the soccer team, talking about energy management. Pretty much the only question I asked him was what the starting salaries were. He mentioned they were close to 6 figures, and my ears perked up. I was very interested, or at least I thought I was. I graduated TU in the winter of 2011. 3 months later, I was starting my dream job. 2 years later into that dream job, I was more lonely, depressed, and unhappy than any point of my work in life. I set out on a discovery journey in 2014, I don't think they mentioned in the bio, but I did spend time traveling, and throughout, Germany, I saw solar panels everywhere. I looked up at the sky, there was no sun. I looked on Google, they said 40% of our power gets generated by solar power. Couldn't believe it. Through that traveling, there was an inspiration behind me starting Good Faith Energy. But much greater than that epiphany of launching a startup was a character trait that reemerged into my life after an incredibly long absence, and that was vulnerability. I learned how to ask for help, ask for directions, ask for food, ask for comfort, ask for a place to crash. I learned how to connect with others on a much deeper level. even if it meant sharing my biggest insecurities and trauma. Today's most successful leaders aren't the most intelligent. It's great that we have a bunch of intelligent students in the room. Trust me, if you have an accounting background, MBA, you're going to be a way better CEO than I am. But they're really the ones with the highest emotional intelligence. They praise publicly and criticize privately. They show vulnerability. They admit fault and shortcomings. They lead from the front lines and they take ownership. They maintain empathy culture and kill blame culture once they sense it. And they're able to course correct in a just manner when they see the ship sinking. So to tie this all up, I have a few lessons. Lesson one, once I started sharing my story, doors opened up for me that I would never have imagined. I built relationships that didn't seem possible. I filled emotional voids and trauma with emotions of peace, comfort, and contentment for who I am and what I've been through. Lesson two, being a vulnerable person isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're human, that values transparency and honesty. It's a sign of resourcefulness and that you're willing to risk rejection for a cause bigger than yourself. Be vulnerable and embrace vulnerability. I'm not asking you all to walk out of here crying, your face is off, but if you do, that's cool. Just don't be a robot. Social media, when abused, can desensitize us, kill our hearts. The world doesn't need any more robots, it needs self-aware human beings. Lesson three, when I chased the money, it brought me no fulfillment, joy, nor purpose. And you guys have heard this from several alumni so far. When I aligned my life's work with my life's purpose, which I believe is to advance the transition to clean energy while creating an impact, I felt the joys of pursuing self-actualization. Lesson four, my parents, they were tasked with the job of survival, and I with self-actualization. Our dear parents, they epitomize a generation that gave up so much to build a new foundation so that my generation can grow and contribute to, among other things, the richness of American society. That's not to say it's been easy, because it's not, but it pales in comparison to what they have done for us. The immigrant generational gap is real. What a luxury it is for our generation to search for purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Lesson five, happiness really boils down to four key points. Alignment, which I spoke about, gratitude, which AJ spoke about, but real gratitude, practicing it, waking up and saying thank you for everything. When something bad happens to you, thank you, it could have been worse. Asking for forgiveness and patience. Lesson six, be careful what you wish for. I wanted to be my own boss, a CEO. Let me hit y'all with some truth. CEO is not a glamorous position. I'm a professional janitor. I literally go around cleaning shitty situations all day long. Lesson seven, losing my dad at such a young age made me really want to become a dad. And I prayed for a long time, for a long life to share with my kids. However, as I've grown and matured, I've stopped asking for a long life and rather a beautiful ending. An ending where I believe I've lived life to the fullest, that I didn't sacrifice my vision and values for $1, that I spent my time grateful, patient, asking for forgiveness in the service of others. So Ward isn't just about success in your career, it's equally about contributing to others' quality of life and development in their communities. Coffins, guys, have no pockets. Be a servant leader. Impact as many lives in a positive way as you possibly can, and do with your attention if you can't with your money. Today, just on the airport lounge, I missed my flight, and I was sitting in the lounge, kind of moaning and groaning, and I asked the lady, she's like, what's going on? I was like, I missed my flight. She was like, well, things could be worse. And I was like, you're right. She's like, I lost my dog this morning. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, it was just me and him, or me and her. And I kind of took a pause and I was like, what was your dog's name? And there was a long line behind me trying to get to the club and the lounge, and I was like, how old was she? What did she like to eat? Asked her about 7 or 8 questions about her dog. And at the very end, she goes, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. I mean, just so simple. Take some time out of your life and show the other people that you care. As much as I want to keep sharing my story, keep attracting lessons, making y'all laugh, my time's up. I can see, hear, feel, whatever you want to say. Me and Kathy Taylor breaking a sweat back there. She's very punctual, parents. Another great reason to send your child to TU. If I said anything today that you did not enjoy, please forgive me. Thank you again, everybody. God bless you all. God bless to you. Rain came, baby.